Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I'm your host, Airsoft Al, and dear God, I am still recovering from, well, actually still somewhat under the weather, but ladies and gentlemen, today we take a look at the second to last story we'll be covering in November, or at least for Author Appreciation Month, unless this goes over well into December, then, yeah, the sickness is making me do that, but either way, though, ladies and gentlemen, today we take a look at RWBY Spartan Assault. And yes, for those of you who are making the connection, Johnnieboy11s has actually confirmed in the Discord that I'm in that, yes, that was kind of the intention. It was that was the intention of it. For the title to be kind of related to the game mode from Halo 4, I think it was, that introduced Spartan Assault, but that doesn't really matter, nor do I care. We're here for the story. And what's the story? Well, in Johnny Boy fashion, the story itself is what happens when Master Chief and really a lot of ONI, or at least a lot of UNSC and UEG assets, happen upon a Remnant, or at least just appear out of damn near nowhere in Remnant. A lot of dead people just miraculously coming back to life on Remnant. And then coming up with a cover story that actually is kind of interesting. I'm not going to spoil for you because I want you to read this for yourself. But it is a story of them actually kind of coming to terms and sort of trying to adapt to Remnant. In the same vein of the Half-Life story we covered recently, it is, in a weird way, a lot of people coming back to life. People who were dead, or at least had messed with Forerunner technology, come back to life in the environment they're in. This is a cool concept and a cool idea in terms of storytelling because Johnny Boy, while other people will probably do the lazy route of it, I myself kind of did that in my own weird crossover story, give or take, on Wattpad. I'm not a writer, I'm a YouTuber, that's what I am. But what I will say is that the story itself, Johnnieboy11s has nailed it down good, and I think, in a weird way, this idea, or at least this universe he's created, is connected to the other universes that he's created. We not only follow Master Chief, but also Blue Team, the rest of Blue Team, Noble Team, and even Foehammer, I mean, from the first Halo game. We also follow, of course, Sergeant Johnson and the team that he lost during the first Halo games, and all of them becoming younger. Some of the Spartans becoming Faunus, a rabbit and wolf Faunus, respectively, and even some weird stuff happening as a whole. A village of military through and through. A company known as H&K, which, being an H&K aficionado myself, I approve of that. I really do approve of that. I like that. Political intrigue, some other craziness, and the big thing in the 17-chapter fanfiction, the final 17th chapter, the newest one as of the filming of this review, where Dr. Halsey is now younger and is an Atlas. This could create a lot of things, but before I get to that, I need to go ahead and specify, because I know a lot of you are going to say, which season does this take place in? This takes place between, as the story starts out, it takes place between Season 1 and the early of Season 2, well into Season 2 of RWBY, well into the Vinyl Festival. I believe it was Season 2, it might be Season 3 I'm thinking of. I'm sick, guys, alright, my mind is not at 100%, so please forgive me for that. Before anyone says anything, I do own the RWBY DVDs, so yeah, well, RWBY DVDs when they first started bringing them on DVDs, and then the Blu-rays whenever I could find them at Walmart. Yes, I did get them at Walmart. I didn't buy online. I bought with cash. Moving on though. My head. Either way though, so Dr. Halsey is now an Atlas, and this can create a lot of cool, interesting things. Sergeant Johnson being a beacon also creates a lot of cool dynamics as well. This being Sergeant Johnson probably being given a teaching position. Again, this is Sergeant Major Johnson, a non-commissioned officer and one who is the biggest of badasses out of power armor. You put that man in a classroom or having him teach, you're going to get results. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if he's got those kids singing cadences or even... Again, it's just one of those things. Story going forward is definitely going to be interesting as well, because with Halsey being an Atlas, she could definitely be plucked up by either Ironwood or something else entirely, and her try to replicate the Spartan program in Atlas. She is a scientist through and through, and someone who believes that Spartans are the next step of human evolution. I'm not playing the clip. I'm too damn tired. I'm probably not going to be editing this much. I'm probably just going to cut out things here and there. The big thing the story is going to present is just Johnnieboy is creating a cool divergence from the original timeline. There are other UNSC and UEG assets that are still popping up every day. IFFs of fellow Marines, IFFs of UEG civilians, weapon caches, things like that. There is a lot that is being presented in this story. And to be honest, I could see going forward with the Vinyl Festival, I could see them, instead of them representing Beacon, them representing their fallen kingdom, and or at least as their cover story goes, their fallen kingdom, and honoring that kingdom. Them presenting a sort of mock history of the kingdom and sort of changing things as they go along. There's a lot that can be done with this, and I am really, really looking forward to how that plays out. RWBY11 has created something really good and fascinating, and the fact that, again, he has diverged from the original timeline, we could see Beacon not fall. If enough assets and UNSC forces do arrive, and they do actually have enough firepower, or at least have enough, then Beacon would not fall. Vale would not fall, and more or less, the story could change drastically. Once the Maidens are brought into place, I could see the Spartans and the UNSC that are there, if enough forces are gathered up, immediately take over the situation and either try and figure out how to save the Maidens or anything of that nature, or try and more or less just figure something out, as Spartans relatively do. I mean, this is the Master Chief we're talking about, the man who literally has luck out of his ass. That did not make sense, and I'm just tired. I don't care by this point. Either way, though, the story's good. I'm looking forward to the next chapter, and if you guys want to read this for yourself, link down below. And as well as the Discord and the PayPal, you know how it goes, etc., etc., etc. If you will, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to prepare for the last story in Johnnieboy11 month, or at least the Author Appreciation month, which is covering Johnnieboy11 Above and Beyond. Covering a game that I have no idea about, and I'm probably going to do research on. And hopefully I'll be well enough by then to actually give more energy in that review. But either way, though, I'm going to turn off the camera here, and I'm going to hop on this bed, and I'm going to take a nap. Or I'm going to try and beat this flu, or whatever the hell I have. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen.